The LC40 Elites are now on the grid for the start of their green flag lap, and this is how the grid looks. So Johnny Garness, your championship leader, can wrap up the championship here today and in this race. He is 108 points ahead of the number 88 of Mason Foster, so all he has to do is finish inside the top two. But if Johnny Garness fails to finish, so DNS did not finish, Mason Foster must finish 7th or higher to keep that championship rolling into race number 3 later on today. But Mason Foster will be lining up second on the grid, just behind his championship rival Johnny Garness, and number 66 seems to be stopping out there on the track. Ronnie Harris, who would be starting from 4th on the grid, has his bike cut out. He's trying to restart the bike again, so he has done. Maybe he can get back around the grid, around the track, onto the grid. So that's disaster for the 66 of Ronnie Harris, who picked up a well-earned 4th place in yesterday's race. But to round out the runners and rides for the rest of the grid, Clayton Edmonds will be in 3rd. Ronnie Harris should be in 4th. Samuel Munson on bike 72 is in 5th, ahead of Cameron Sewell, rounding out the 3rd row of the grid. Charlie Huntingford is in 7th spot, ahead of Kobe Petty. Holly Harris will be in 9th on bike number 15. Rounding out the top 10 is Warwick Brady, ahead of Greg Marshall on bike number 19. And rounding out the start of this LC40 Elite race number 2, and in 12th position will be Keaton Payne. So here is Chris McCarthy to take you through the start of what could be a very intense and important race for this championship.
Could we crown our 4th champion in this race? Johnny Garness on pole position, top 2 finish, and he's guaranteed to become champion. If he's lower than that, he still can become champion, but it becomes a little bit more working out to do. If Johnny Garness fails to finish, then Mason Foster has to finish inside the top 7 to keep the championship rolling into race 3 this afternoon. That is the situation at the moment. Garness and Foster will be on the front row. Ronnie Harris has run into problems on that green flag lap, as Liam mentioned, so I'm not too sure. And we have Cameron Sewell also being sent to the back of the grid, so 2 slots empty on the outside of the grid in Harris and Sewell. So Kobe Perry could take advantage here and get a lightning start from P8, but the grid marshal appears to be happy now, so any second now they'll be directed towards those red lights, which will come on when they go out. We will be away and racing for the LC40 Elites. It's race number 1. It could be the championship decider. Garness could crown himself the 2019 champion in 8 laps time. Here we go, watch those lights, and they're off away. Oh, Garness, a rocket off the line in towards the chicane, determined to go and take that title. And Garness through the chicane, already streaking clear out front as they go in towards McRae's for the first time. Fantastic stuff that from Johnny Garness, now powering his way up towards Iredale's. Johnny Garness, fantastic riding this from him as he now heads down towards Stewart's. He is well away and clear as they tip their way through the long right-hander of Stewart's, and now they'll make their way downhill. It looks like Foster is still in 2nd place at the moment as we come through St John's. The top 3 breaking away from the rest of the field at the moment as we head up towards Paddock Bend. Garness, it is in the lead. We'll bring you the order when they come across the line to complete lap number 1. It is Garness from Foster, then it is Edmonds in 3rd place. Huntingford has taken advantage, of course, with the likes of Harris and Sewell missing from 7th on the grid. He's gone to 4th. Then it is Munson, Brady, Perry, Harris, Sewell, Marshall, Payne. No Ronnie Harris, sadly, with problems on the green flag lap.
Johnny Garness is determined to take this race win, and not only the race win, the championship in style. Everyone always says that champions always want to go out and take the championship with a race win, but it's not over just yet, as we've seen so many times in 2019. Johnny Garness gets an absolute flyer in the first few laps, but Mason Foster just builds up and then slowly closes in Garness. These two have been the class of the field and have been rivals all the way through their careers, so they're coming across the line now. We will keep an eye on the gap, and yes, Mason Foster has closed the gap down He was a tenth of a second quicker than Garness on lap number 2. So Garness still leads away from Mason Foster at 53.5 from Foster, first lap of the race. Clayton Edmonds rounds out the podium for the moment ahead of Charlie Huntingford and Samuel Munson. Warwick Brady in 6th. Colby Perry 7th. Cameron Sewell, who started from the back of the grid, has made his way up into 8th ahead of Holly Harris, Greg Marshall, Keaton Payne are rounding out the runners and riders for the moment. So Johnny Garness is coming under a little bit more pressure as he head down towards St John's. Mason Foster is closing the gap very slowly indeed into Sonny Ben's a very tricky corner. Just don't want to be clipping the curb on the inside. Stand the bike back up, flick it over to the right, all the way up to Paddock Bend. This could be an ever closing gap as they come across the line to start lap number 4, and it is. It's half a second now as Mason Foster sets another new fastest lap of the race at 53.3. We've seen it so many times this season. We could see another epic scrap for the race win here today.
Yep, Garness doing a good job, but Mason Foster is closing in. Now Garness with Edmonds a further 3.5 seconds back, 4 seconds back from himself. There is literally no point in Garness fighting Foster here. If I was Johnny Garness, I'd sit up and let Mason Foster go through, because Mason Foster will be determined to go and take race wins. That's all he really can do now. Garness, if he finishes second, he still becomes the champion. So Garness really... It's quite straightforward. Just let Foster go through if you have to, and you'll still become the champion. That's the main thing. It's winning the title. Race wins, of course, are great, but you can take more of those later this afternoon and indeed at Tattershall. Garness, though, it is Johnny Garness, let's remember. He may start streaking away as we go into the second half of the lap. But once again, Mason Foster was quicker on that last lap. Set another new fastest lap. Edmonds is third. Huntingford fourth. Munson fifth. Cameron Sewell, by the way, of course, sent to the back of the grid from sixth. He is moving up the order very nicely here. He's up to 7th place now, is Cameron Sewell, and 1.3 seconds back from Perry. He was 3/10 quicker than Perry on the last lap, despite that overtake. So we'll keep an eye on Cameron Sewell as the race goes on. But Garness comes across the line. His lead was 0.48. Let's see what it is this time. I believe it is roughly the same. Yeah, 0.416.
These two are on a lap record pace. Once Mason Foster started to catch Johnny Garness, he's now up to his pace. They're the only two in the 53s, and they're not only on the high 53s, but on the low 53s at the moment. A 53.0 for Foster last time round, 53.1 from Garness. The next fastest is Clayton Edmonds in third at 54.8. So these two are showing why they have been the class of the field all season long. Chris, you were just saying there, if you were Garness, you would slip back into second and let Foster take the win. But these two are rivals. They're racers. They don't want the other one to win. They want to beat each other every single race, and they're proving that today with 3 laps remaining as they come across start finish line now. It's coming into crunch time. If it stays the way it is, Garness becomes champion. If he drops behind Foster, he still becomes champion. If he slips off, he won't become champion in this race. And the run that Mason Foster got on to the back straight was brilliant up towards Iredale's the goal at the top of the hill. Later on the brakes from Foster, he has closed the gap. It's only a couple of tenths of a second now. They're in the 53 still, 53.3 for Foster and 53.4 from Garness.
Yeah, just to give you a reminder, by the way, that there are no signals allowed. That was said at the riders' briefing, so Garness will not be instructed to do anything like that. It will be his decision, and being a racer, he probably won't want to do that. It's easy to look at it from a mathematical point of view, from a neutral point of view, up here in the commentary box to say that, but Garness wants wins. You're completely right. So this is going to be an exciting end to the race, that's for sure, because Foster is chipping away at his lead, but Garness is making it very difficult for him. He's almost saying to Mason Foster, just give up, just stay in second. You're not going to get past me. But Foster keeps just chipping away ever so slightly at that lead, and we are into the final 2 laps. So there is only a lap and a half to go here, and Garness has done a fantastic job so far just to hold off Mason Foster. Edmondson is still in third from Huntingford, Munson, Perry. Sewell is in seventh. I can't see him going any further forward, Cameron, because he's 3.6 seconds back from Perry. Down towards St John's for the penultimate time, and Garness still just holding on. We have got a back marker ahead, which I believe is Keaton Payne, and we just await to see them come around the final corner and down the straight. And Garness, his lead, let's check it out as he comes onto the final lap. It's just over 0.4 of a second, so looking good with 1 lap to go.
Half a lap remaining before Johnny Garness becomes the LC40 Elite Champion for 2019 if he stays on the bike. But the person that's been there all season long, all career long for Johnny Garness, is still right behind him. Mason Foster and bike number 88 won't let Johnny Garness take this championship lying down. He will continue to put the pressure on him as they make their way through turn number 6, through turn number 7, the kink and the track down towards St John's. There's only 3 more corners to go. Sunny Bend it is now for Garness. He's now got a 0.4 of a second advantage. Up towards Paddock Bend to go across the start finish line. They'll come any second now. Johnny Garness comes through the final corner and will take the LC40 Elite Championship, the 2019 champion. He is ecstatic as Johnny Garness. Mason Foster done all he could to try and stop his championship rival, but couldn't do enough. He sets up, looks a bit distraught, but he done a valiant, brilliant job all season long. And Johnny Garness stops by the side of the circuit to potentially change his helmet or put on a championship
t-shirt.
He's
putting on a champion t-shirt.
A pre-arranged celebration. This is great to see. He's putting on a championship t-shirt to tell everyone that he's done it for 2019. In third spot was, of course, Clayton Edmonds and Charlie.
It's got the number 1 on it, the shirt there, you can see.
Yeah, well, he is the champion for 2019, fully deserved. You've got to show it off indeed, to just prove to everyone that you are the champion. You have done it this season, and of course, he's picked up the most amount of race wins, and Mason Foster is so distraught with that, but very happy at the same time because he's the only one that came close to Johnny Garness all season. And he's got a Czech, is that a Czech Republic flag he's got?
Yes.
Circuit. Not sure if well, it means something. Maybe it's half of their family.
Family heritage, I guess.
Family heritage. So that is great to see, and we don't see that often in the grassroots with a championship t-shirt and a flag to go around the circuit. But before we get back to the paddock and see the rest of the celebrations from Johnny Garness, Johnny Garness takes the race win and, of course, the LC40 Elite Championship for 2019. Mason Foster will be in second in both the championship and in the race. Clayton Edmonds was 17 seconds further back, but rounds out the podium positions ahead of Charlie Huntingford. Samuel Munson in 5th spot ahead of Cameron Sewell. Kobe Perry in 7th. Warwick Brady in 8th. Holly Harris picks up 9th ahead of Greg Marshall, rounding out the top 10.